So I'm here once again outside the Metropolitan Correction Center, where it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood for Arkancide to come to NYC. Or is perhaps something more sinister happening? We don't know. I am standing here outside the correctional facility. People might notice behind me the New York City medical examiner's car just pulled up a moment ago. I approached the vehicle and they would not roll down the windows, and the U.S. Marshal, or the U.S. Marshal Police, whatever that is, that little station there, U.S. Marshal Service here in the Southern District of New York, refused to answer questions about what might be happening with regard to Mr. Epstein. A lot of questions. I got here about a half an hour ago, and the public information officer for the Department of Justice here in the Southern District of New York, that's Nicholas Biazzi, he came by, said there will be no press conference. There is no official statement from the Department of Justice with regard to the alleged suicide of Jeffrey Epstein, convicted sex offender, alleged billionaire. Now, there are people walking here. I guess we could maybe walk in here. Let's bring in Charles Ortel. I left so quickly, I did not have time to set up the whole sound system that I normally have. Hello, Charles.
Hello.
Can everybody hear Charles, I hope? How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I've got the television on in the background with the sound off. This is nonstop Epstein.
Yeah. Well, you know, Charles, I'm down here at the Metropolitan Correction Center, and a vehicle just pulled up from the medical examiner's office, and I asked the U.S. Marshal if they were here to verify the dead body, and he refused to answer that question, as we might expect. The public information officer for the Southern District of New York, the Department of Justice, was also here, and that was Nicholas Biazzi, saying that there's no official comment from the Department of Justice at this time. What have you been hearing?
What I've been hearing, and I spoke to a highly experienced government source who said that the first thing that one would want to do is confirm the identity of the person who supposedly now is dead.
Right.
And there needs to be confirmation of that. So let's assume that there is confirmation that this is in fact Jeffrey Epstein for the moment. There's a question in my mind whether it is, but let's assume it is. What this highly experienced veteran of more than 30 years in investigative work for the government said is that there are specific protocols, numerous regulations about how you would handle a prisoner of this, in quotes, stature, somebody who could implicate so many powerful people around the world and inside the United States as we run into an election year. This type of a person would be kept under 24-hour monitoring, video, audio, one or more people standing outside the prison door. There are going to be extensive records, or there should be extensive records of every second the guy was in custody. And if procedures and protocols were overridden, there should be a record of that. What this person said, which I found very interesting, is that Epstein was in, I believe, federal protection.
Right.
And so therefore under a U.S. Marshal. And that the U.S. Marshal responsible for the safety of this guy in particular should be out of a job over this.
Right.
And if he's not out of a job within a week, what this person suggested is that this may be part of an elaborate attempt to get him, in a different place so he sings like a canary.
Right.
But that to me at this point is a 1% probability. Anyway, I found that very interesting. This person contacted me within minutes of the news going out.
Yeah. Well, Charles, I did speak with Nicholas Biazzi. I asked him the specific question, is Jeffrey Epstein being put into the witness protection program? And he refused to comment, but I did note that he looked sort of up and to his left when he answered that question. People can make of that what they will. He said there is no official comment, the public will not see a body, and would not confirm or deny any questions with regard to the witness protection program.
Did he do the clapper head touch?
Didn't touch anything, wouldn't go on camera, but he did sort of, as I said, look to his left and I don't know. Obviously, he wasn't going to tell me too much of anything. I'm standing here outside the U.S. Attorney's office, and I don't think they want me to go inside. They did confirm there's going to be no press event, no live statements. I presume they'll be releasing a press release, but no press conference today and no press conference planned with regard to the alleged suicide of Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, I mean, we have, without doubt, across this country and around the world, some of the finest investigative police people on the planet. And you would have thought that extra care would be taken to make sure that this guy, who appears to be in decent physical health, or was in decent physical health, would be kept alive so that all trails could be followed.
You'd hope.
You'd hope, but I mean, I actually have found a copy of Conchita Stornoff's book, Trafficking. We're going to talk about it tomorrow. Bring it with me. But, interestingly, Acosta did the work, the former Secretary of, I guess, was it Labor?
Yeah.
Who was drummed out over this. He did the original work suggesting that government should go for it. And when I read the book, it's this guy Lefcourt, who was appointed by, I think, H.W. Bush. So he's a Bush Republican, and Starr are the ones who renegotiated the agreement, to give him basically light touch, that light sentence that he got. That's really interesting to me, and I think we have to go back over this long chain of Epstein's life. Nobody knew who he really was when he was alive, but I think this is going to heighten the interest around the world in who in the heck was this guy? How did he get into the various positions that he held along the way, starting with Dalton? How did he escape the Vietnam draft? All these tough questions. I think this suspicious death, after he was already, remember, found once supposedly having attempted suicide, come the F on here.
Yeah. I guess, Charles, down here in the Southern District, suicide watch means you hang out outside the cell and watch as the guy commits suicide.
Right, just take a number.
Right. All right, Charles, everybody's going to be very anxious to hear what more we have to say about this tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern on Sunday with Charles. Thanks for taking the time to call in and share that info with us.
All right, you have a great day, Jason. Thank you.
You too, Charles. I'll see you tomorrow.
Great, bye.
Bye-bye. So there we go, Charles Ortel calling in with that information. I hope everybody could hear Charles all right. It is difficult to have all this stuff running, one-man band style. I can see, wow, we've got 1,000 people watching. Thanks for that, everybody. Don't forget to support Crowdsource the Truth by becoming a sponsor on patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth or subscribestar.com/crowdsourcethetruth. I know these marshals are not going to want to talk to me. They might even get extremely irritated. But let's go see if the medical examiner is coming back around. Oh, I've used 100% of my data. Oh no, we may lose the stream. Oh no, AT&T, how could you? Oh, AT&T, I hope we're still going. All right, we're going to keep going. Maybe there's a big bill coming. Maybe we're ratcheting down to 3G. I have no idea. If this broadcast gets cut off, I will re-upload it after I return. It's good that we got that report from Charles Ortel. Let's see if the medical examiner's car is still there and if we can learn anything from them or from asking some questions of them. I hope we are still streaming live. It looks like it may have cut off the broadcast. That's terrible. Terrible news. Some kind of first state, Delaware. I don't know what that's about. See, this is the problem. You can't get more than like 15 gigabytes per month. And when you exceed that, you're sort of SOL, as they say in the biz. So let's see, that medical examiner car is still there. They're definitely not going to say anything to me. Huh, looks like Cassandra Fairbanks is right here. The medical examiner say anything to you? Nope. So here's the officer. He's giving a ticket to somebody or something. Let's see if we can speak to the medical examiner. Ah, they left. Medical examiner. So the medical examiner is not examining any potentially dead bodies inside the correctional facility, huh? Sorry?
Excuse me.
Good day.
No comment? Okay, no comment there. I don't know what we're going to be able to learn here. We know that there's no press conference happening. We know that, okay, maybe we do still have some data. I hope this is still reaching everyone. Anybody give me a comment if we Hillary for a comment. Yeah, I don't know if we're still live streaming. We'll have to see. Whoop. Okay, so let's see. Michael Moore was interested in calling in. Let me see if I can get him. It's going to be a little earlier than I had told him to expect my call. Let's see if Michael's ready to talk about this. Not a lot of activity down here. There was a New York Times photographer here earlier.
I just don't understand it. Hello.
We're live, Mike. How you doing?
Hey, what's going on?
Not too much. I had a brief word.
We're live?
We're live. I had a brief word with Nicholas Biazzi, the public information officer for the Department of Justice in the Southern District, who said that the public will not see a body. There will be no press conference. And with regard to Jeffrey Epstein being put into the across the street. Okay, I got to go across the street here. Which way? Okay. Anyway, we're not going to see the body, and he would not comment as to whether or not Epstein's being put into the witness protection program. What are you hearing, Mike? I don't know, this guy's... yeah, sorry.
I think the next time they fake a suicide, it'd be better if they didn't mess up my weekend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, do you...
Look, the phone started lighting up like early this morning. I was in bed. I'm like, what do these people want? Like, leave me alone. You know what I'm saying? That kind of thing.
Right.
But, and it's like, even the feds are calling bullshit on this.
Oh,
you know?
really?
Well, they're like, come on, this is getting ridiculous. Because it's two things, right? Either it's some kind of a hoax and they're moving them somewhere, or wait, we went through all this trouble and this is what happened? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why weren't they watching it?
Right.
It's a lose-lose. That's the mixture of the message I'm getting. And then, you know, I'm sure NYPD is not happy with the situation. Because don't forget, the NYPD is working with the feds and this task force to bring in more victims and things like that. And I talked to one of the guys who's involved in that just real quick, and you know, he's like, why would anybody come forward now? You know?
Right. Fear of death, obviously. Fear of being Arkancided, suicided. Mike, have we heard anything more? I know on our Tuesday night Patreon and Subscribestar exclusive show, More Pain, we had some testimony from a witness. Any more information with regard to authorities and their willingness to speak with that witness?
Well, now it's going to become, I mean, it was proceeding, and I can't get too much into it, but now it's going to become another issue of maybe the witness doesn't want to proceed.
Right. So that's what these types of things are all about, just intimidating anybody.
And who could blame them?
Right.
I wouldn't blame them. And it's... you can't make this stuff up.
Yeah.
That's why it's so bizarre. It's like, so, you know, I was interviewing a whistleblower yesterday in Washington, D.C.,
Mm-hmm.
and we had the same conversation. I told him, you have to watch your ass, you have to be very careful. And he had some people there that were former government, just a high-profile guy, former government spooks, so to speak, and they were looking at me cross-eyed like, oh, are you serious? I'm like, dude, this is not a game. This is real.
Right.
And then I heard from some of those guys this morning saying, wow, you're not messing around. You know your stuff. Yeah, I know my stuff because I lived it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But these guys, okay, I don't believe anything these guys say anymore. I don't. The FBI.
Yeah, of course.
The DOJ. I don't believe any of it. I want to see some proof.
Show me the body.
This is like, I tweeted, I said, I'll cover this story later. I'm having a rooftop brunch with Bin Laden and Epstein.
Exactly.
But no, I mean, it's so crazy that you can't even, you can't even put words on it. He's on suicide watch. Nobody knew that meant the feds would watch him commit suicide.
Exactly.
I think that's a different kind of suicide watch than everybody else has. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, a lot of problems with this case, Mike. I guess we're going to have to wait and see. There are some members of the media out here. I see, some, the New York Times was here earlier. We got a lot of, broadcast people here.
They actually sleep in the streets in New York. You didn't know that. They're homeless, these people.
PIO said there's going to be no official announcement, so I think they might be wasting their time. It is worth mentioning. I was just speaking.
I told you earlier today, they're not going to drag the FBI and DOJ are not going to. They're not going to drag their ass in on a Saturday for this. They'll wait till Monday. They'll let it. They're just not going to do it. They're all about the weekend. Like right. You should have seen Washington yesterday, 4:59 p.m. All right, when that clock struck 5, it was like everybody was out the door. It was like a horse race. Yeah. You know what I mean? They're all about the weekend, especially in the summer. That's where their priorities are. They're not going to come. I told you this, but that's just the way they're wired.
Yeah. Well, I noticed a stark contrast to it's relatively dead over here right outside the MCC, but there's some kind of street festival going on. As I was approaching from the subway, I thought it might be possible that the enhanced police presence was in response to this Jeffrey Epstein alleged suicide, but as it turns out, they were just guarding the street fair.
Yeah, it's the first annual Clinton-sponsored Epstein street fair.
Yeah, something like that. But it's interesting because the medical examiner's car pulled up and was parked there. They obviously noticed that I walked up and wanted to talk to them, and they stayed in the car for what seemed like an unusually long amount of time to me. The marshal didn't want to say anything and chose a relatively impolite way to tell me no comment. But then when I stepped away, the medical examiner went inside and is no longer in the car. So apparently they're not here to examine a body, and that guy, before I got him on camera, that marshal was telling me, where do you think there's a body? There's nobody in there. So I'm wondering why they have such a huge building if there's nobody in there.
Well, the marshals are always quick with a word or whatever. They're used to dealing with scumbags most of the time, but I think they're responsible for Epstein's safety. So.
Wow. Good job.
It's like, really? You're going to get jumped bad? Aren't you guys responsible for the safety of prisoners? That along, MCC has its own security staff, but it's overseen by BOP and the marshals, so. Right. Like, maybe you should just not. I don't know what he said to you, but I always get a kick out of these guys. Like, hey, man, what do you think you're doing? I'm just doing my job. It's like, yeah. And it's like, why don't you do your fucking job? You just, a high-profile pedophile suspect, child trafficker, allegedly killed himself. Doesn't sound like you. And he was on suicide watch. Yeah. Who was on suicide watch with it? Stevie Wonder?
Exactly.
No, it's people say, "Oh, what do you do? Making jokes." What are you supposed to do? It's so bizarre. You can't help but make jokes about it.
Yeah.
No,
for sure. And the thing is, the marshal was very rude before the camera was running, and then when the camera was running, he just closed the door and said, have a nice day. So, whatever. That's his prerogative, I suppose.
Here's what would have happened, right? They take, early in the morning, they remove the body, they take it to a hospital, and that's where it's pronounced dead officially. So if he did actually die, I have my doubts, he would have been taken to the nearest hospital, and then they pronounce him dead there, and then he's dispatched to wherever. I don't know who would pick up his body or how it works. I don't know who.
Well, what do you think the medical examiner would be doing over there at about 10:35 with Epstein? That news started breaking around 9 a.m. You think it's just a coincidence that the medical examiner was over there?
Oh, it's hard for me to comment why the medical examiner was there. I have no idea. At this point, it would be
anybody's guess.
Well, at this point, it would be kind of moot. I mean, the body would be long out of there, probably an hour and a half, 2 hours out of there. I think they reported that the body was removed at 7:20, something like that.
Oh, wow. You know, Mike, I think I might be out of data, so we may be offline right now. I'm going to head back. I think we've learned all we're going to be able to learn over here today. Public will not see a body, no press conference, no official comment from the DOJ, the marshals, or anybody, medical examiner's office, nothing like that. So I think we'll wrap it up for now, and I'll make sure.
This is the way it works in a corrupt republic, my friend.
Absolutely, Mike. All right, everybody's got to tune in Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern for more pain on patreon.com/TruePundit and patreon.com/CrowdsourceTheTruth. Thanks, Mike. I'll see you soon.
All right, brother.
Take care. Okay, so people are telling me we're buffering, I think. I wonder if we're offline. It's possible. People may be able to see the street fair I was talking about over here. I don't know if people can see that. We got a little ice baby happening. So a lot more interest in vanilla ice and whatever that is over there, some aerial acrobatics, than the alleged suicide of Jeffrey Epstein. But there you go. That's the story. I hope it's still coming through. I'm going to head back and make sure everybody got this. Please become a sponsor of Crowdsource the Truth at patreon.com/crowdsourcethetruth and subscribestar.com/crowdsourcethetruth. You can also go to crowdsourcethetruth.com, and sponsors are going to enjoy the brand new feature of variable speed playback on exclusive content on Patreon and Subscribestar. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great weekend. I'm out.